Hey everyone, REDyTay here, back at it with another Pokemon playthrough. This time we're taking a trip down memory lane to celebrate a classic in the Pokemon game pantheon. We're marking the 25th anniversary of Pokemon Yellow by playing it from start to finish. This isn't going to be a challenge, but rather a nice, carefree playthrough of a game that I hope was a major staple in many of our childhoods. I know it's hard to believe this game is actually turning 25. For those of you craving a bit of a challenge, I will be setting one rule: no items used in battle. Other than that, we can catch whoever we want and use whatever Pokemon we want to form a team that will totally obliterate all the gyms, Elite Four, and our rival. I will be avoiding glitches, cheats, and hacks. I don't really plan on using any, but I'm also a little tempted to catch Mew using the Mew glitch, considering I never did that as a kid, and I'd love to give it a go here. Outside of that though, I won't be doing any forms of cheating to progress. This is already a nostalgic run for me as I type this intro. For my 8th birthday, my parents got me exactly what I wanted, which was an Atomic Purple Game Boy and a Pokemon game. In this case, it was Pokemon Yellow, and to this day, those two are some of my most cherished gifts I've ever received. They could easily be considered a cornerstone that laid the foundation of my childhood and sparked my interest in other hobbies as I've grown older. I haven't touched this game in a while though, so I'm excited to see what comes back to memory as we play. Enough talking though, let's get playing. We start in Pallet Town as usual, heading into the tall grass where Professor Oak catches a wild Pikachu before bringing us back to the lab. Remember that point, it's important. Once we're in the lab, we get our first Pokemon of the game. I used the Pokemon randomizer so that... Just kidding. Our rival just pushes us aside, snags the Eevee we were supposed to get, and we end up with the Pikachu that Professor Oak just caught. How convenient. We named Pikachu 25, which feels fitting for the original number 25 of the game and this anniversary. Stat-wise, Pikachu is about what I expected: good speed, slightly better special than attack, and defense is the weakest stat. We're starting out with only Thundershock and Growl, which is all you need to win the first rival battle. It helps that 2 of our Thundershocks are critical hits, but even if they weren't, we probably would have still won. Eevee mainly uses Tackle during the battle, which does a good amount of damage, but our rival seems to think spamming Tail Whip is a better strategy for the remainder of the battle. So yes, this was an easy win. Also, from here on out, Pikachu will follow us around and we can check his mood whenever we want by turning around and tapping the A button. He seems kind of unsure about us at the moment, which makes sense. We haven't really proven ourselves yet. From here we do the usual early game tasks, such as heading to Viridian City to pick up the parcel for Professor Oak, return to Pallet Town to receive the Pokedex and town map, and then prepare for the optional rematch with our rival. When I first played this game, I would catch every single Pokemon I encountered on each route and wouldn't move forward to another area until I caught them all. I'd also grind until everyone in the party was around the same level. I mainly did this because as a kid I was really stumped on how to beat Brock's rock ground team when my starter is an electric type. None of the Pokemon you can catch on the way to Pewter City have a super effective move against Brock's team, and you can't get any grass or water types this early in the game either. This was a very tedious approach and not how I play anymore, so now I'm only going to catch Pokemon that I think might be a good addition to the team at the moment. That said, it might be fun to catch as many Pokemon as possible and try to get as close as we can to completing the Pokedex. It could be a challenge, especially since I can't trade on this emulator, but we'll see how close we can get. For now we catch a level 2 male Nidoran. It's going to take some time to raise him up, but I also have plans to include him in the party. While we're on the route that leads to Victory Road, we also catch Mankey, a must-have for Brock. However, Mankey isn't ready for battle yet, so we need to grind him a bit to get him up to speed. We switch train against wild Pokemon on this route, and since we're in the area, we soon start the rematch battle with our rival. Pikachu is one level below our rival Spearow, but Spearow's Leer fails while we easily knock it out with 2 Thundershocks. When Eevee comes out, we immediately paralyze it with a Thunder Wave, which Pikachu recently learned. From there we spam Thundershock and Eevee doesn't attack. Well, that was a no damage sweep. Which means it's time to move forward to Viridian Forest. Battling the bug catchers goes smoothly and we catch a Caterpie, which is actually noteworthy in this run. Yes, we'll be grinding this guy up too. The great thing about this version is that there are 2 extra trainers in Viridian Forest, giving us 2 additional opportunities to earn sizable chunks of experience for leveling up Mankey and Caterpie. That being said, we make it through the forest, but we still need a few more levels, so we grind in that patch of grass outside of Pewter City. While we're grinding, it's worth noting some differences in this area compared to the previous red and blue versions. For starters, you can't catch Pikachu here in the Viridian Forest. In earlier versions, it could take a while since it had a low encounter rate, but you could eventually catch the Pokemon mascot early in the game at this location. This means the Pikachu we have is the only one we can get in this game, and no Raichu either unless we cheat or trade. You also can't catch Weedle here. Instead, we see Pidgeotto referencing Ash's Pidgeotto in the show. With all this grinding, the goal is to get Mankey ready for Brock by leveling it up to level 9, where it learns the fighting move Low Kick. For Caterpie, the goal is to grind it to level 10 so it can evolve into Metapod and then Butterfree, and once it evolves into its final form, it will learn Confusion, which is a great sidekick move this early in the game, especially considering Brock's team doesn't have the best special stats. Once we get these Pokemon to that point, I think we're ready to take on Brock. I'm going to be honest, it took me a while to reach this point the first time I played this game as a kid. This was the very first Pokemon game I had ever played, so I didn't really understand type matchups, effectiveness, or what stats Pokemon had or what they meant. However, I did know that electric moves are not effective at all against ground types. So the first few times I tried this battle as an 8-year-old, I just got Pikachu to a level where it learned Quick Attack, and from there I spammed that move until we took Geodude down. This was a terrible strategy because it didn't take long before we were only doing 1 damage with each attack. Geodude's solid defense and its use of Defense Curl only made things worse. Winning wasn't possible until I got some pointers from the most trusted source of Pokemon knowledge, the school playground. Well, that and the occasional peek at the game walkthrough book at the local bookstore. But basically the plan we have today is the same one I eventually came up with when I was 8 years old. It has a pretty good success rate, so let's put it to work. I haven't mentioned this yet, but I love the majority of sprites in Pokemon Yellow. For the most part, they look better than the original Red and Blue counterparts. Part of this improvement comes with the enhanced color palette, but there's also just more detail given to these sprites. That said, the back sprites could still use some work. Sorry, Mankey. But hey, check this out. Brock has a new sprite and it matches his persona from the TV show. Anyway, back to the battle. Right out of the gate, Low Kick takes off 2/3 of Geodude's health. What's even better is that its tackle misses, so we can easily finish it off with another Low Kick. Onix, however, is proving to be a bit more challenging. Low Kick isn't doing as much damage, which is a little surprising to be honest. I must have misremembered Onix's defense stat. I try using Leer to lower Onix's defense, but because we've already attacked, Onix can now unleash Bite on us. Yikes, that Bite only absorbed 1 attack, but now Mankey is left with just 6 HP. I use 1 more Leer, but Onix soon takes Mankey out with a tackle. Wait, why didn't I heal up before this battle? Butterfree is going into this fight with low health. Another attack from Onix makes this battle even scarier. Fusion does better than Low Kick, but Onix is still in the orange, while Butterfree is hanging on by a thread after another tackle. We're in a really tight spot here with Confusion not finishing Onix off. Both Pokemon are now in the red, and we're likely going to lose. Or, Onix can just use Screech. That works too, I guess. I really don't understand Pokemon AI sometimes, but it's nice to see that Yellow version isn't much better in that department than its predecessors. Of course, we keep going on the offensive and knock Onix out with 1 more Confusion. Okay, that was a closer battle than I was expecting, but it worked out in the end. It wouldn't have been so close if I had Butterfree at full health at the start of the battle, so that's on me. But look, we got our first gym badge in this playthrough, and this one's a tough one when you have Pikachu as your starter. Now we just have to battle the trainers leading up to Mount Moon. This is another great place to get some experience because we still have a lot of work to do in building this team. But before you know it, we're in front of the entrance to Mount Moon, and I think that's a great place to end this part of the playthrough. Hopefully the next video will cover Mount Moon, the tasks we do around Cerulean City, and hopefully a quick battle against Misty. But you'll have to tune in for the next video to see how that goes. In the meantime, check out some of my other challenges, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe for updates, and leave comments about what you enjoyed, what challenges you'd like to see in the future, and any suggestions you have for improving these videos. I always appreciate creative input when it comes to making these. Thanks for watching everyone, and until next time, Geronimo.